Howdly doodly.
What's going on?
So if you'll humor me for a moment,
Yart?
how how is it possible that our education system is so bad that people do not understand that all of the stuff that Doge found is tech related?
What do you mean?
So most of the I 26-year professional in IT, most of the errors that they found were based off of what we did to fix Y2K
What the fuck?
to prevent the Social Security
Oh,
Administration's
the double digit.
databases from failing.
Yeah.
They had to they had two choices. They could either make somebody less than retirement age and knock their database date of birth back to the late 70s, which was incorrect, or they could put it at 1870 whatever.
Examination of Social Security, and we've got people in there that are 150 years old.
That was their choices.
Oh, that makes sense
We're
now.
actually arguing semantics about people that do not understand what was done 25 years ago to prevent our society from falling apart.
Okay, so I know really quick. I just want to clarify this, and maybe be able to clarify it for me. That actually makes sense, but I'm going to ask just for clarity's sake, anyways, and then I'll look this up later. Um, my understanding was that the Social Security database was done back in the 50s or 60s or whatever, like a really long time ago, and they used a double
Correct.
digit ending sequence. So instead of using 4, they used 2. And you're saying
Correct.
Y2K,
No,
they coded them with 4 digits. I remember this because they're
because
like,
they
why did they
had
use two digits? People were like, why did they use 2 digits then? Well, it's because memory back in the 50s, 60s, 70s was really fucking expensive. And so those 2 digits could be a lot of fucking money, right? So their 4 digits would be a lot more fucking money, be double the expense. So they would use 2 digits. And there's, oh, we'll solve this problem in 50 years. We don't really have a problem with it, whatever. It won't matter for 100 years or something like that. Anyways, and then,
Oh no,
Y2K.
absolutely. It was something they did minimally to save on money in order to not have to have the mainframe servers, the IBM mainframe servers that they were buying in the late 70s cost them another $50 million, which in the late 70s was huge amounts of money.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that had to do with
So
Y2K, but I
so
do know
what
that
they
there was
so
that
what was
coding error.
done, and I worked on some of these projects as an intern in the late 90s when I was getting my computer science degree.
Fuck, you're old.
So what was done, and this was insurance companies, government, everybody did this, was you had to go through all of these old AS400 COBOL databases and add 2 digits. You had to add a 19 or a 20 to the 2 digits. You had to change a year from 2 digits to 4 digits. So what the Social Security Administration did in order to be able to solve that, because they couldn't, the way the database was structured, they couldn't go back certain date sets. They set the ages to the 1800s in order to be able to ensure that those people were still getting their Social Security databases. So the answer to where all of this fraud is coming from, where all the Doge stuff is coming from, is the government doesn't spend enough money. I know no one wants to hear that. But that's actually the answer, is they do not spend enough money on tech. Now, everyone who bitched about the Obamacare website costing X $100 million, that was for security. That was the security backbone. That wasn't the website. It's the same thing with the Social Security Administration. The reason why we're still using those AS400 databases is because they are text-based and they are locked. They're called what's air gapped. You cannot go up to one of those databases online or with a USB plug or a USB port or a USB dongle and make any changes. You have to actually physically be in front of a terminal to make those changes. That's why it's secure. It has nothing to do with what modern IT security is. Doesn't have anything to do with passwords, two-step authentication. It has to do with the fact that this stuff is so old, just like our nuclear arsenal, which I can get into that argument. That's hilarious, by the way. It's so old that the only way to make changes within some of these databases, especially the payment databases, is to physically be at a terminal to make the changes.
You are coping